GatedContent.com provides administrators the ability to manage form fields and customize them for specific use cases. This video will show you how to navigate the Manage Fields area and introduce you to the key functionality at your disposal. The Manage Fields tab can be found on the left-hand side menu, and once opened will display all the fields associated with your account. You can use the search input to locate fields, and you can search locally using any information that appears in the table below. To create a new field, click the Create a New Field button on the top right hand side. This will load the field editor. Basic settings. Type. This field type determines what input will be displayed to the user and the type of data it is able to accept. It is important that the corresponding field on the receiving form is of the appropriate type. For example, a large text field requires a multi-line input with a high character limit on the receiving form. Typical options here include simple text, large text, checkbox, email address, phone number, country selector, pick list, custom content, and hidden field. Field name maps the field to your marketing automation platform. Therefore, it is essential that it matches exactly the field name within the receiving platform. It must be alphanumeric and contain no spaces. We would recommend establishing guidelines for naming fields to support proper organization within the platform. Label. This is the text that will appear to the user on the form alongside or above the field input depending on your account styling. For example, please select a country. This can be translated into other languages using the Translations Management area. Placeholder text appears as a light coloured watermark inside the input area of the field when it's blank. This can be useful in improving the user experience of your form, providing hints, suggestions, or formats. Pre-population. Fields can be pre-populated with data from various sources whilst the form is loading. This drop-down allows you to select the input from any pre-population required. Pre-population will greatly increase the form's user experience and optimization by completing as many steps as possible on the user's behalf. Depending on your selection, different information will be required. Typical options here include a string, a simple static string, a gate attribute, a piece of data from the gate configuration, for example a download URL, form attribute, data about the form submission such as when it was submitted or whether it was a blind submission, query string value. Track a query string parameter whenever it appears in the URL and pre-populate this field with the latest value. Copy field value. Copy the field value of another field. Note that this field must be present in the same form type and must already have a value in it. If the user can be identified by a third-party platform, such as Eloqua or Marketo, contact field values can be used for pre-population. Browser. Data from the browser, including software version and geographical location of the user. And custom formula. Build advanced pre-pop values by combining other basic values. Browser memory timeout. This determines how long a field will remember its value after pre-populating or submission by a user. In addition to this, some pre-pop sources are cached when retrieved. This can be controlled from the main account settings by your administrator. Translate field messaging. This determines whether the field messaging, label, placeholder, and validation messaging should be made available for translation. Depending on the type of field selected, you will be shown different options available at different stages of customization. When using checkboxes, for instance, you must provide a checked value that will be returned to the marketing automation platform. If the field is not checked, the value will always be blank. When using pick lists, the label to be displayed to the user and the values to be returned to the marketing automation platform must be provided. You can bulk add pick list options by submitting a list with one option per line in this format. You will also be shown extra translations options when using pick lists. All fields use a default validation message specific to the field type when the user attempts to submit the form with invalid fields. This messaging can be overridden. Custom validation rules can be added to this field below. Each validation rule must take the form of a valid regular expression. Rules tell a field how to behave under a given set of conditions. Once you have created or edited fields, you'll need to push the changes live before you'll start seeing them on gates or in the form type editor.